What's up, guys? Welcome back to Animanji, and today we're going to be talking about Jessica Jones Season 2. Jessica Jones Season 2 is okay. It's not great. It could be a lot better. It's definitely not better than Season 1. I don't think it's even at the same level. And I'm going to give you a few reasons why I feel that way right now. So, number one is the villain. Season 1 had a fantastic villain in the shape of David Tennant as Kilgrave. He was amazing. Every single time he was on the screen, you just felt dread. You were really worried for Jessica. What was going to happen to her? What was he going to make her do, or the people around her do, with his mind controlling abilities? It was just, it was very unnerving, and it was very interesting. This season is missing that. First of all, it doesn't have a really focused villain. This time it's like a shadowy organization that is doing experiments on people like Jessica and turning them into superpowered beings. And Jessica and Patsy are trying to uncover the truth about this organization and find out what really happened to Jessica when she was younger. In my opinion, it's just not it's just not interesting. Where Season 1 had a single villain, this has just some random shabby organization that honestly the show never really makes you care about. It's just kind of there. It gives them something to do. And in my opinion, it doesn't really work. Not only that, but the shabby organization doesn't stay the villain for the rest of the season. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But just as a whole, the villain in this season is just really it's really missing something, and it sucks because the characters in this season really deserve a better protagonist. I'm sorry, antagonist. Oh my god. All right, so the next point that we're going to talk about is the side characters and their stories. This is another weak point for Jessica Jones Season 2. The side characters, while they are likable and you care about what happens to them, their stories don't really fit in with the overall plot. So Jessica is trying to uncover what's going on with this shabby organization and other people behind this. And then we're cutting over to, let's say, Malcolm and his love for Patsy, or his feelings of being ignored by Jessica, and because he's working for her in this season, so he feels like he's not being listened to, or he's not given enough to do. And while that does add some depth to his character overall, I just don't feel like it was necessary for the season per se. Now, of course, every show needs to have something else going on, like some subplots or something, but usually those subplots actually add something to the overall narrative. It just that just doesn't do it here. The same thing for Patsy and Jeri Hogarth. Patsy is feeling like she is not relevant because she doesn't have any superpowers or any real skills to help out Jessica while they're tracking down these powered people. So she feels like she's weak and she can't help, and so she starts taking like this inhaler to give herself powers and some extra strength. And while that's a good avenue to explore, it doesn't really go any further than that. As a matter of fact, near the end of the season, or actually near the middle, she just kind of stops the medication that she's taking, just kind of runs out, and then she's just back to her normal self, and that's pretty much it. So I just feel like there are certain things that just aren't fully explored, and so in the end, you just leave feeling empty. The only side character who really has somewhat of a story that actually makes you care is Jeri Hogarth, because she finds out in this season that she has a disease, ALS, that could really ruin her career, and she's kind of acting out because of that. And you see her in some really emotional scenes and you really feel for her. But then again, even with this, you're just kind of wondering, okay, what does this have to do with everything else going on? And the answer is it doesn't have much of anything to do with anything. It's just kind of there. And I just wish that they found a way to try to tie it in. And they have like some kind of weird way to do that, but it doesn't work. And so I feel like when it comes to side characters and their stories, it just doesn't really work for season 2, and that's pretty sad. My fourth thing here is the mother-daughter dynamic. If you haven't seen season 2, then you won't know that Jessica Jones' mother comes back, and she is super powered. Apparently, she survived the car crash, and she was also experimented on with Jessica in this organization. And she was hidden away because her power, she's stronger than Jessica, but she's more unstable. So Jessica finds this out, and then like it becomes like a mother-daughter show. Now, I will say that the chemistry between Jessica and her mom is very realistic. You do care about their relationship, and so that's something that I feel like worked. I'm glad that we were able to see Jessica in a more vulnerable state when it comes to her family, and to see her really conflicted about whether or not she should be trying to protect her mother, or whether or not she should just kind of leave her in the dust to fend for herself. So it kind of gives us a little bit of a just kind of something to root for, or kind of think about ourselves. So that works. But the only issue with this is that they don't really it's very rushed. And then, of course, the side character issue comes back, because instead of us focusing on them and what's going on there, we just keep veering off course to look at Hogarth, or look at Malcolm or Patsy and what's going on in their lives, which, like I said before, doesn't really add anything to the narrative. I think that the show would have done a lot better had they just kind of focused on this, and just had the show just be a little bit more linear this time around, kind of like the first season. Then everything could have worked a little bit better. Moving on, the acting. I will say that the acting is really top notch here, especially Carrie-Anne Moss. Kristen Ritter, of course, is amazing as Jessica Jones. She really makes you feel for the character. She's extremely relatable, and that's really hard to do, especially for somebody with superpowers. But she really makes it seem real, and she really makes you care for her. Same thing with Carrie-Anne Moss, who's going through this thing with the disease. She's just having a really hard time, and you feel for her as well, and she makes it really real. Everyone else does a pretty decent job. So, I mean, I didn't really have any issues there when it came to the acting. So there's that. Overall, Jessica Jones season 2 is a flawed second season, especially when you start out so high, just knocking everything out, just doing a wonderful job. The villain, the story, in the first season, and then this season it's just kind of everywhere. There's no real focus, and then we're just kind of veering off in different places. It didn't work for me personally. It's watchable, I will tell you that. It's not bad, but it's not great. It really could have gone somewhere further than it did, and I'm not sure if they rushed production on this, or maybe some things just seemed like it was better on paper than it translated on screen. So tell me what you guys thought of Jessica Jones season 2. Did you feel like it was a good season on par with season 1? Or did you kind of feel like I did, that it was kind of missing something, and hopefully they do better in season 3? Go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to click that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I release a new video. And also, if there's anything that you want me to watch and review, go ahead and leave that in the comment section as well, and I'll get that content out for you. But until next time, stay dope.